Aspen HR is a professional employer organization. So I've actually been in the PEO world for 10 years now. And I'm now the director of sales for Aspen HR. In a nutshell, we are a one-stop shop for everything that you would need. Our clients include everyone from like Standish Management to Keith Raboy from Founders Fund, his new company, Open Store, which is now valued at $750 million. The truth is that with everybody, especially going remote, all of the compliance of registering in multiple states and just the need for companies to have the best in class benefits, which if you're less than 100 US employees, you don't actually have any buying power on the open market. So we're able to actually get those groups access to large group buying power while handling all of their multi-state and federal and HR compliance. We also have an in-house legal team we make available for our clients, and we provide cyber liability insurance as well as EPLI, employment practice liability insurance, which protects companies from employer-employer related lawsuits. And then we give them the full package, right? So they can compete against the Googles of the world on an affordable pricing model. And the biggest differentiator is definitely our full white glove service. So instead of one administrator having to manage the entire relationship, we actually provide employees direct points of contact. They'll know their name and phone number. So we do all of the outreach, onboarding, and we even do personal assistance if somebody has questions on, infertility or any type of sensitive it needs, need doctor checking. We do it all. So it really is a full one-stop shop. Like I said, we specialize in the, kind of white collar industry. That's why we have everyone from the Standish Managements to the open stores, which are obviously high growth after they raised their 75 million Series B. But yeah, and then it includes everything from payroll taxes, workers' comp, benefit administration, and then all employer related compliance. We have rolled out what's called a portfolio partner program. So it is specialized pricing for any companies in all of their portfolio groups. That's both from a admin and medical underwriting perspective. And I can, I'll follow up and send Marty some more details that he can send out to the group on that if anybody is interested in learning more.
Cassandra, what's the target size of a company that you're looking at to help? I mean, like who outsources benefits or who uses PEOs these days? Can you give us some examples?
Yeah, I mean, well, for example, you went from like a Standish to an open store, right? But the reality is anyone, of course, states can differ, but our most common average size is about 15 employees, but we start as low as 2 employees, right? And obviously I would say up to about 150. Once it depends, once those groups are that size, the best fits once they're past 100, because they will have their own buying power at that point, because you do not have medical buying power when you're less than 100 in the US. But when they're over, a lot of them stay, much larger simply because, especially now of all the multi-states, right? All of that multi-state registration and compliance, becomes a big driver for especially companies in high growth mode. But, anywhere from 2 employees and up is our target market, with our average size being about 15 to 25 employees.
What's the maximum size of somebody? I mean, who takes this stuff in-house?
It's a good question. I mean, in the 10 years I've done this, I've worked with everyone from the Hinge app until they became acquired by Match. I signed them up at 5, right? They grew with us till hundreds, and they stayed on PEO until they got acquired and moved in-house. So the reality is it depends on that specific setup. That's like I said, I mean, on their growth structure. I tend to see them move more towards in-house once they're past the 200 mark, if they're very consolidated in specific states. So it's much easier for them to break away and set up their own in-house team. But with everyone going remote nowadays, it is becoming less, popular just because it's such an expensive turnaround. But yeah, I mean, that's really the real answer. I would say too large. I would be very shocked to see a company with 1,000 employees still on the platform.
But what about all these virtual companies that have 20 employees and 20 consultants?
Or I mean, we do all 1099s as well.
Right, okay.
We do K-1s, 1099s, right? We do all W-2 employees. So whether, it's K-1s that need assistance with the distributions in their 401k, right? And they don't want to deal with that, or whether it be high growth groups that are hiring extremely quick, need people that are experts on the benefits being offered, need top-notch benefits to recruit on an affordable price point. Like, those are the target markets. I would say what we do not accept are anything that is going to be high risk blue collar. So no construction companies, right? No, plumbers coming in. It's we have to keep our books very clean, right, in order to be able to manage the master and make sure that it stays at extremely competitive pricing levels. So there are, those groups that would be what's called like a disqualification for the PEO model.
Gotcha, right. And so like I had a guy come to me, he's out of Paris, but he's running a company in Silicon Valley. All of his programmers are in Barcelona and in Lithuania. Is that like an ideal model for you guys?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, so we can, if they were hiring here in the US, or if they, needed that structure, that setup for US employees or anyone on visas, we track visas, we assist with those. But when you get to other countries, we have partners with what's called international PEOs, right? So in some ways, people think that, you can sometimes find a global one-stop shop. I mean, look at ADP, right? But it's not actually true. You have a separate login, you have, separate, it's all still payroll running separately, simply because countries have their own mandatory tax laws. Like if you look at Israel, right, you have to pay into like military tax, right? Which doesn't exist here in the US. So on the back end, those things are separated, which is why how we combine it with our partners is for reporting, census, or PTO tracking, which are the things that can be combined.
Gotcha. And I mean, there's probably no family offices. There's very few that have more than 50 employees. I mean, outside, if there's a core family office versus an operating company. So your focus is primarily financial corporate companies, alternative funds, VCs, PE firms, et cetera, or
well,
hedge
those are our
funds?
focus because we can assist them on an easy level. And then obviously our goal is to tap into their portfolios that they're funding, right? And get into the high growth tech, whether it be life science, right? FinTech or advertising, any of those are the goal focus. I mean, we obviously do a lot of VC firms can be a bit bigger, but asset management funds, those hedge funds, yeah, those tend to be smaller, but they still have high compliance needs. They want the best in class benefits, right? They want all of that run and operated for them. They don't want to, have to hire someone just to, make the one or two employees that they're onboarding have a great seamless experience and get all that assistance. It's the last thing they want to deal with. So we can easily manage those and get them everything they need and take care of the entire, we reach out to the employee. We do it all. And then that's why we created the portfolio partner program, because it's actually based on if you are a client of Aspen, based on the amount of portfolios you send that sign up with us, you'll actually credit back their fees. So ultimately they can end up paying nothing for all of their HR support. Right. And if you are not a client, like I worked with GV, right, Google Ventures, they're obviously not going to be an Aspen HR client, but we will then, instead of obviously crediting back fees, tally up those credits and then provide it to them for sponsorship dollars. So, we can either throw sponsorships, put them on for them, they can take it and throw it for their own portfolio groups. So we try to make those, be incentivizing for the groups, whether they're clients or whether they're just part of the portfolio partnership program.
So you can provide kind of that white glove care that people are looking for. You stepped out of Goldman Sachs, now you have your own hedge fund, and you want to provide the same level of benefits so people are incentivized to not disqualify you, you're not being able to maintain the lifestyle they've been having, right? Something like that.
Exactly. In my 10 years of the career, I've managed, programs with, OrbiMed, Graycroft, FF Venture, Oliver speaking today, right? Our goal is because those guys want their money when they fund, right, to go towards obviously those companies succeeding, hiring the best talent and not, getting into compliance issues. Every state has its own set of rules, right? Here in New York, you have mandatory short-term disability with FMLA, you have commuter benefit laws, sexual harassment training laws, right? Which could be completely different in California and Los Angeles. There's 4 different mandates for PTO addendums you have to have based on the county that an employee is hired in, right? So we are on top of all of this and we are responsible for that compliance. So a company doesn't have to worry about it and can scale or just hire, and have the best and have that entire process taken care of for them. Even people with a HR certificate or a degree, that's a completely separate license from a benefit license. Okay, so instead of trying to find someone that could even learn all of those things, we provide all of that support for a company.
Fantastic. Once again, it's just excellent to get all this great information about your company, what you guys offer. Anything else you want to tell us?
So I will send out the announcement on our portfolio partner program. If anyone is interested in learning more, please reach out. I'll include, I have a Calendly link, so it can be kind of a seamless setup. But I think that there's no downside of being part of it. And if you guys, have any follow-up questions for me, you'll have my contact information in that. But other than that, I appreciate all of your guys' time, and I will let the next panelists come up.
Fantastic. And I think a lot of people, Aspen HR, Mark Sinatra, I think heads it up, right? He's a fellow Wharton guy and known him for many years, and a highly successful search fund entrepreneur, which is a great space to be in. So